as a corporation, I think we have a moral responsibility to give back to the communities that we serve. And that's one of the things we try to promote within our employee base. But it becomes difficult when you're constantly being hit. It's difficult to make a difference. So it's like, I always describe it as like the shotgun effect, right? And really what the foundation's purpose is to take the giving that we do naturally and like bring it from being sort of a shotgun effect to being a little more focused in areas that, one, we really care about, and two, sort of align with who we are, whether that be, the pillars of, sustainability, digital mobility, technology, or health and well-being. What we're trying to do is say, we're going to focus our efforts and effectively try to make a greater impact in one of these areas. And if you think about those, are still pretty broad areas, but we're taking this like really wide view, and at least we're taking the lens down a little bit for folks. And that's important because I think that's how you ultimately make a difference in, how you interact with not just the organizations that serve in those areas, but the people that benefit from the organizations that serve.
The Bell Charitable Foundation recently awarded 4 grants to nonprofits that are making a difference in our community. And the way we are able to help them is by giving them funds. We gave out roughly $150,000 worth of grants to 4 organizations which have a huge impact in our community, whether it's finding jobs, whether it's focused on health and wellness or technology. And we feel like that's the best way to really help these organizations make a difference in the community.
The foundation gives us a really cool opportunity to focus on smaller kind of grassroots organizations that only have maybe 2 employees but make a huge impact on the neighborhoods that they're located in. And a grant from a foundation like the Bell Charitable Foundation will just completely transform the work that they're doing, allow them to reach different communities, different people within their community, and just slowly but surely transform our city.
Yeah, sustainability is important to the foundation because at the end of the day, we want to have a place that we can all live and work, and we have to take care of the earth in order to do that. I think we can bring awareness to that and really invest in organizations that do this all the time. This is not what we do every day, right? But there are a lot of organizations here in this region that do this stuff every day. They know how to do it, they know how to make an impact, they know how to do policy work. So if we can then invest and support their efforts, that ultimately, at the end of the day, makes this a great place to work and play.
Technology is one of the pillars of our foundation simply because we want to close the digital divide. Think about the number of people in our country and in our communities that don't have access to internet or, frankly, devices where they can connect to the internet. And so I think it's really important as we look at education and connection, it's one of our pillars because we want to close that digital divide.
The mobility aspect of it, right? Digital mobility, economic mobility. What we're trying to do there is to say, and the term digital equity comes up a lot, right? And what does digital equity mean? Well, what digital equity means is getting the platform, a digital platform, out to a ubiquitous audience so that everyone, regardless of your economic state, has the ability to touch and use that platform, right? Because right now that's not the case. We have an obligation to make sure that people from all backgrounds have access to that. Because, think what that brings, especially over the last few years, right? Education, your jobs, look at the mobility around that it's offered. Think about the pandemic without access to the internet. What would that have been like? It would have been a disaster. Think about our company in general. Everyone go home for what we thought was weeks, but ended up being years. Go home and you have no access to the internet, right? Would have been a disaster. What that's done, that mobility is crucial to doing your job, to getting a job, to getting an education, right? It's going to be more and more crucial to healthcare in the future. It's becoming more and more crucial to healthcare. So the internet, I always used to say the internet drives hope, right? If you give a young kid, regardless of the background, access to the amount of information that's available on the internet, you've just given them access to hope. So now you give them access to hope in the future. That hope is in the form of education. That hope can be in the form of a future job anywhere, and that's a mobility piece, anywhere. Healthcare from anywhere, right? And that's what we provide. And so that's why it's so important for me. And it's a direct link to what we do.
Yeah, so health and well-being is one of our funding principles. It's a big passion of mine and actually the reason that I came to be employed here. I got to know a lot of people throughout the company through a nonprofit that I work with called Cancer Free Kids. And the support that Alta Fiber has given Cancer Free Kids over the last 20 years is absolutely incredible and has transformed the organization. The work that these organizations are doing, the research that they're funding, or the services that they're providing are helping much more than just the people that they touch immediately. The research that's being funded is impacting cancer research and other diseases across the world. And some of the services that are being provided are touching people internationally.
Over the years, especially the recent years, we've just heard from employees, how can we do more in the community? How can we make more of an impact? Our employees are really passionate about doing a lot of volunteerism, a lot of things in the organization, and that's one of the reasons that the foundation really got started. We have an incredible legacy in the Bell name, and so we wanted to make sure people in the community understand we're not going anywhere. We are still here. If anything, we are just going to give, and we're going to give more. I mean, we all work and play with customers and in this community, and so to the extent we can make a bigger impact, the more important it is. So I think that's one of the reasons that really we started this work, and it's exciting because we have a very well-known brand, we have a very well-known presence, and so I think as a good corporate citizen, it gives us the opportunity to really accelerate the impacts we can make for a lot of these organizations that, quite honestly, people might not know, people might not be aware of, people might not understand the good work that they're doing. So that's why we're doing it.